All right. Sorry, I did not start recording when I was supposed to. I apologize, but we started off by looking at the equation for a circle. So we're going to be looking at circles on a coordinate plane. And you can write the equation for a circle using the following equation. This is like standard form for a circle. And what happens is the center of the circle is at h comma k, and the radius is r. And so now we're going to look at a few examples. So we're on this example. Here's our circle. We identified that the center is at 2 comma -1. And now we are going to count to find the radius. Yeah, so Tyrone says, can you count outwards to find the radius? That's exactly what we're going to do. So I have the center. Oh, I didn't see that Perla said it as well. I have the center and I'm going to count outwards to find how long the radius is. So how long is the radius? It's 5 units. So the radius r is 5. The center 2 comma -1. But now let's look at the equation and see how we can figure the same exact information just from our equation. Remember that, let's write this in the standard form. So it's x minus h squared, y minus k squared, and then r squared. So the 25, what do you have to do to it to actually get the value of r? Yeah, we got to take the square root of it. Because according to this equation, r squared equals 25, so that means that r is 5. Then what's the deal with our center? Because I got +2 and -1, but when you look at the equation, I see -2 and +1. It's flipped, exactly. It's flipped. So we just got to remember, and do you guys remember this from algebra? We've seen this before, this sort of situation. It's like vertex formula, exactly. Which, guys, by the way, I'm teaching that right now in my algebra classes. So for me, it's like I'm just teaching the same exact thing to everybody. So yeah, those two numbers, you have to remember to flip the sign. All right. So that tells us that h is +2 and k is -1. So does anyone have any questions on how to read the equation in order to understand the radius and the center? Not too bad, right? Cool. So let's try another one. In this case, I have a circle, but I don't have the equation. So we're going to write the equation once we find all the information. So go ahead and identify the center, identify the radius, and we'll go from there. Good, Jalen. The center is at -3 comma 2. And the radius is 3. Good. 3 units. 3 units. Okay. So this means that h is -3, k is +2, and we're going to remember to flip those numbers when we write it into the standard form. So I'm going to start, I always like to start with just the standard form and then I'll fill everything in. So x minus h squared, y minus k squared equals r squared. So when I fill everything in, what do I write here? Good, x plus 3. So we're flipping the sign. Y minus 2, good. Equals 3 to the power
3
to the power of 2. You got to remember to square it. So my final equation, in the final equation, when everything is nice and simplified, you just want to remember to square it, and then we got our final answer. What do the x's and y's do? So the x's and the y's, just like in algebra, remember like in algebra when you have an equation for a line, let's say y equals mx plus b, usually you have numbers everywhere except for x and y, right? And that's because the x and the y are your input and your output. So I could plug something into this equation. I can plug in a 1 or a 0 or 7, whatever number I want to plug in. I can figure out what the output value would be. So it's very similar to algebra in that way. Any other questions? Okay, try another one, this time on your own. So find the radius, find the center, and then we're going to write the equation. Take about a minute. You can send it privately, yeah. Oh, Rio's already sent it, sorry. I was just sending a message to Janelle's. All right, so the center is at -1, 0. The radius is 3. Good. Now let's go ahead and fill everything in. Let me go back. I'm just going to copy this so I don't have to rewrite it every time. All right. So what do I plug in my first set of parentheses? So it's going to be x minus 1 or plus 1? Plus, good. Plus 1. We're going to flip it. Then I've got y minus 0. And then I have 3 squared again. Now, what is y minus 0 going to be? Yeah, just y. Think about it. If you take 0 away from it, it's still going to be y on its own. So when I simplify this, I'm going to write x plus 1 squared plus y squared equals 9. Exactly. What is 0 squared? What's 0 times 0? 0. So we don't have to write it at all. How do we feel about this so far? Not too bad? Pretty good? All right, let's do one more. Perla, why are you nervous? Don't worry, we're gonna practice. Monday, Tuesday, we got a lot of review sessions, okay? So I tried to make everything fit this week so that we get as much review as possible next week. All right, last one on your own. Send me your final answers in the chat. So don't put it in public. Then we'll go over it together. Rios, privately. All right, take about 30 more seconds. Send me your final answer. All right. All right. Let's go through it together. Where is the center? Zero comma negative one? Hold up. 0 comma negative
2.
2. You said it to me correctly the first time, Tyrone. Oops.
Mike.
All right, 0 comma negative 2. Good. What is the radius? 3. All right. So h is 0, k is negative 2. Let's go ahead and write it. Tyrone, fix your answer because you know you made a little mistake there. Fix it, and I want you to send it because you were able to put exponents, which I've never seen on Zoom before. Good. Because what happens is we get x minus 0 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 3 squared. And how did you get those exponents? I've never seen that on Zoom before. That looks cool. You Googled it? Nice. All right, so x minus 0 just gets me x. So I have x squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 9. How do we feel? Any questions? Perla, what do you mean you're scared you're going to lose your friends? How are you going to lose your friends? You're not going to lose anyone. Plus, in this day and age with technology, I'm sure you'll find a way to communicate when you're in Honduras, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Plus, you're going to a new school anyways, so who needs all those old friends? I'm kidding. If you've got true friends, they're gonna stay your friends. I still have friends. My best friend, I met her in the 4th grade. I have 2 really close friends that I met in middle school. I have 6 best friends that we all met in high school, and then I have 6 best friends that I met in college. So you'll find friends all throughout your life for different things you do, and they will stay with you no matter what, because especially with high school, you guys will go through a lot of stuff together. So those friends, they're true friends for the rest of your life. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You'll get to go to your friends with you're going to school with your friend. That's awesome. All right. Any questions on this? We seem pretty good. Awesome. Okay, quick practice problem. Put your answer in the poll. It should be 100%. Let's see if we do. There's a small little trick to it, but I'm sure most of you can figure it out. I can zoom in a little bit, yeah. There you go. Uh-oh, did Jalen mess everyone up? Perla, you will 100% survive. I have no doubts. All right, I see 4 people have voted. Take another 30 seconds. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to share the poll results afterwards. You guys know what that means. Okay. Where's the circle? Where's the center? I mean. Where's the center? -2, comma 1. So H is -2, K is +1. Which answer choices can I eliminate? A and B are out. Why? Because they're not, okay, good. Because you have to flip the sign. So this should be a +2, not a -2. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now let's see, what's the radius? Is it exactly 3? It's not exactly 3. How much is it approximately? 3.5-ish. It's like somewhere around 3.5, sure. Somewhere around 3.5. But remember, when you put it into the formula, what do you have to do to it? You have to square it. So we get x plus 2 squared, y minus 1 squared, and 3.5 squared. Use your calculators. What is 3.5 squared approximately? $12.25. Answer choice D was the one we were looking for. So let's see the results. See what happened? 50-50. Well, 40-40 because I had one who chose the completely wrong answer. But between those two last options, half of y'all got fooled, half of y'all didn't. Only 5 people voted, first of all, which is also not a good thing. So how do we feel now? Don't forget, that's the most common mistake people are going to make is they forget to square the radius. So we're not going to forget, are we, in the future, are we? Okay.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, you know how Jalen said he messed up and chose the wrong answer? He chose what he thought was the wrong answer, but then he actually had chosen the correct answer. All right. All right. Here's a challenge one. Can I get a volunteer to read this one?
Bella,
Okay. You can't?
I'll go after person I read for
Okay.
now. I told myself I wasn't going to talk about that. I can't break that promise.
I didn't understand a single word he just said, Jalen.
maybe Alejandro. I don't know. I never heard from him.
Somebody read in 5, 4.
I'll read for
Let me tell somebody.
Okay, go.
Circle is defined by x plus 5 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals 16. And circle B is defined by x plus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 9. Describe the series of transformations that map circle A into circle B.
Awesome. All right. So series of transformations. Let's kind of think about what that means. So I've got two circles. They're in different places. What's going to happen before we're not going to get into it yet, but just what are some things that are going to have to happen in order to map circle A onto circle B? If they're in different places, what has to happen? Maybe a reflection, but I'm thinking something a little easier than that. Translations, right? Because if I have one circle over here, one circle over there, I'm going to have to move one, right, over to the other. Now, it might also happen, yeah, so Perla also says possibly a dilation because one circle might be kind of small, the other one might be kind of bigger, so we're probably going to have to move it and then dilate it. But now, let's figure out where we got to move it and how much we got to dilate it. What do we know about circle A? The center is at -5, 6. And the radius is 4. So again, don't forget that this 16, that's 4 squared. So don't forget to take the square root of that number, right, in order to figure out the radius. That's circle A. What about circle B? What do we know about circle B? Okay. Somebody else. Circle B, what do I know about it? The center is at, is it negative? Okay, the other way around. -3, -2. And how much is the radius? 3 units. Good. Okay. So now we can kind of figure this out a little bit better because now I can see a little bit what happens to go from one to the other. So let's think about the center point. If I'm going from this center point to that center point, what's happening to the x value? I went from -5 to -3. So what happened there? Up 2 units. Good. So it's, well, it's the x value. Yeah, so to the right 2 units. Actually, I'll just write it down. And then I went from 6 to -2. So since I went from 6 to -2, I went down. 8 units. Does anyone have questions on how I figured that out? All right. And then the radius went from 4 to 3. Now remember, what type of transformation is that going to be? A dilation, good. What would be the scale factor of this dilation? Be careful. We're going from circle A to circle B. So which one is my image? Which one is my pre-image? Three over 4, yeah. 3 over 4, because it's pre-image. No, it's image over pre-image. So the circle B radius over circle A radius. So there we got it. We got all of our transformations. So we have a vertical translation. Eight units down. We have a horizontal translation. Two units to the right. And then we have a dilation where the scale factor is 3 over 4. And we are multiplying it times 3 over 4. You always multiply times the scale factor. And you always do it to where you're starting from. So if you do it this way, 4 times the scale factor, 4 times 3 over 4, I get 3. So you take where you started times the scale factor, you get your new distance. Does that make sense? Okay. You're welcome. Any other questions on this problem? It's a good problem. This is a very, very good challenge question. Any number, yes, Jalen, that's exactly right. Any number between 0 and 1 is getting smaller. So the radius got smaller. That's why I have a fraction. And that's another way to think about it. If you thought it was 4 over 3, that's a number greater than 1. So that wouldn't make sense because that would mean that the circle's getting bigger, but we already know it's getting smaller. So we know it's going to be a fraction between 0 and 1. Any other questions? These are good. Good. We're having a really good discussion today, guys. I'm enjoying this. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to, obviously, we always add more things to this. Let's take a look at this question. It's saying, what is the radius of a circle that is centered at 5, 6 and passes through 2, 2? So let's think about what this means. This means that you have a circle somewhere and it passes, the center is at 5, 6. Oh, that's not very good center. That's a little better. 5, 6. And it's passing through 2, 2. So if I'm passing through that point has to be located somewhere on the circumference of the circle. So it's probably like, let's say over here. Okay, so the center is 5, 6, and then there's a 2, 2 is on the outside of the circle. How would I find the radius of that circle? I have 2 coordinate points. How do I find the radius? Good. I'm going to need to use the distance formula. So Where's Rios? Rios just left. What happened? This is his favorite part of everything. He loves the distance formula. He always wants to use the distance formula every time. So the radius is, who remembers the distance formula? X2. Oh, there he is. Good. X2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. We got 2 points. We have 2 points. Let's go ahead and use that formula to find the distance. All right, x2 minus x1. What do I write? x2 minus x1. What do I write? Two minus 5 squared plus 2 minus 6 squared. 2 minus 5. -3 squared. 2 minus 6. 2 minus 6. -4 squared. What's the square root of 9 and 16? We got 5. So the radius is 5. R equals 5. Now we have everything we need. Go ahead and figure out which of these answer choices tells me the equation of the circle. Perla says D. Do we agree? No poll on this one. I'll do a poll on the next one. Agree, disagree? Jalen agrees. Tyrone agrees. Alejandro agrees. Cool. We all agree it is answer choice D. Again, don't forget, we got to square the radius in order to get 25. Any questions on this one? I know I just added a little extra step, but this is already stuff we know how to do. So that's the nice thing about this whole topic right here is that most of this stuff, you guys have seen it before. We're just looking at it in a new context. So here's another question, very similar. Try it out completely on your own. It's going to take a little bit longer, so I'll give you guys like 4 minutes to do this one. Nice. I already see 2 answers in the chat. Or in the poll, I mean. All right, I have 4 votes out of 6 votes, and there's 1 minute remaining. All right, 30 seconds. I'm waiting on one more person. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6. My favorite coffee is black coffee with no sugar, no milk, no nothing. 3, 2, 1. All right. Here we go. Here's my results. What do you guys think? Do you think we had 100%? No, but we got close, 60%. 3 out of 5 people. Okay. We can do better. We can definitely do better, but let's check this one out. So the center is +2, +3. So which answer choices can I immediately, well, can I? Yeah. Which answer choices can I get rid of? If the center is +2, +3, which of these answer choices are out the window? B and D had the wrong number. In B and D, they were looking at this one, 5, 3. But that's not the center. The center is 2, 3. So those are out the window. Now I need to find the distance between 2, 3 and 5, 3. So my distance formula would be 5 minus 2 squared and 3 minus 3 squared. Well, that's 3 squared plus 0 squared. So I have the square root of 9. So I have 3. So the radius is 3. And if the radius is 3, when I put it into the formula, what do I have to do? We square it in the formula. So it's answer choice C, not answer choice A, because this we have to square it. So don't, if you feel like you keep making that same mistake, don't. Questions on this type of problem? All right. I'm going to add one more thing to make your life more difficult. And what we're going to do is we're going back to algebra for a quick second. Yeah. I had to use that meme because I know how y'all
Grace,
feel
you know
about it.
something ironic?
What?
Yesterday, yesterday, I was like, oh, thank God we don't ever have to do the completing the square thing again, because I do not remember how to do it. I was trying to remember how to do it, but I'm like, well, thank
Yeah,
God.
didn't you literally say it during class? I feel like you literally said it during class. I don't know why. Yep, we're gonna just quickly remind ourselves how to do completing the square. But don't you worry, it is really not that bad. I promise. I promise it's not that bad. Super quick. Take the 10, divide it by 2. What do you get?
5.
5. Take the 5, square it. What do you get? 25. Now go ahead, do the same thing for the other 2 problems. Take that number, divide it by 2, and then square it. Send it to me privately in the chat. Tell me what goes in that blank. Take a couple seconds. Good. Good, good, good. Perla, Emily, Jalen, you guys got it. Rios? Rios, that's not the conversation we're having right now. I need you to focus on this problem and get me some answers. Good, 49. Easy, easy. So for negative 14 divided by 2, I get negative 7. Negative 7 squared, I get 49. And for the last one, 16 divided by 2, I get 8. 8 to the power of 2, I get 64. Good. Now, once you do that, you can now factor it. Factoring, super, super easy. Take the number that you got over here, and we're just going to put it in the parentheses. So this is going to be x plus 5 squared. Even easier than that, Perla, even because you can do it that way and you'll get the same answer. You can do it that way, but you'll get the same exact answer. So all you do is you take the number, I call this the magic number, and you just put it into the parentheses and square it. So for number 2, it's going to be x minus 7 squared. What's the last one going to be? X plus 8 squared, plus 8. That's okay, because it's a positive 8. So completing the square, it's been a while, I know, but it's really not that bad. It's just something real quick, you got to remember how to do it, and once you remember it, it's a super easy thing to do. So do I have any questions on how to complete the square? All right. Now, why do I need to do this? Okay, take a look at this crazy looking equation. Looks crazy, doesn't it? Looks crazy? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to rearrange it a little bit, and we're going to do something called the complete the square method. And once we complete the square, you're going to see that it looks exactly like the equation for a circle. So watch, we're going to do this like 4 times. Hopefully we have enough time. Watch carefully, write it down. As I do it, you'll see how it makes sense, asking me questions at the end. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange it, put all my x's together, put all my y's together, and I'm going to move my constant to the other side. So I'm going to do several things all at once. First thing, I'm going to write my x's together. Write my y's together. And I'm going to subtract 24 on both sides to move it over. Okay, x's together, y's are together, move the 24. Next up, I'm going to complete the square. So I'm completing the square for the x's, and then I'm going to complete the square for the y's. So what's my magic number for the x's? -5. When I square that, I get 25. But what did I just do? I just added 25 in the middle of an equation. If I'm adding 25 on the left side, I better be adding it to the right side as well. Then I'm going to do the same thing for my y's. What's my magic number for this? -60? How about -6? When I square it, I get 36, but since I'm adding 36 to the left side, I better be adding it to the right side as well. And then finally, I'm going to factor. So I know that this trinomial is going to become, what's my magic number? What was my magic number for that one? -5. Same thing here. What was my magic number? -6. And let's add all of these up. -24 plus 25 gives me 1. 1 plus 36, I get 37. And now I have my equation of the circle. So, what's the radius of the circle? What's the radius? Okay, so is it exactly 6.08, Perla? How'd you get that number? The square root of 37. So actually the radius, we're just gonna leave it as the square root of 37. And what is my center? 5,6. Exactly. Interesting, right? A lot of we're just bringing a lot of stuff from algebra into geometry, which happens a lot of times, more often than you might think. But each step of this, does anyone have any questions? Take a look, make sure you have it down in your notebook. Everyone definitely should be writing everything, because when you write things down, you're going to remember them more easily, especially a longer process like this. Any questions? Now, I want to get through at least 2 more examples. So we're just going to move on. No questions, are you sure? Okay. Let's try another one. Very similar thing. We'll start by combining. Well, actually, in this one, they already put those next to each other for us, which is nice, but what do I still need to do real quick? I need to complete the square, and there's one more thing before all of that. Oh, there's Tyrone. We got it. There it is. Move the 22. We got to subtract 22 on both sides. All right. So I have x squared plus 10x plus blank. Y squared minus 2y plus blank equals -22. Tyrone, you missed kind of a lot. Please promise me you're going to go back and watch what you missed, okay? Because I don't have time to re-explain it. Okay. All right, we're going to complete the square. What's my magic number for this one? Five. 5 squared gives me 25. But if I'm adding 25 over here, what else? Where else do I have to add it? The other side. Good. What's my magic number here? Careful, it's just 1. It's -1. -1. Because you have to divide it by 2. Divide it by 2 and then square it. Don't forget, yeah. So what's -1 squared? It's okay. It's +1. And since I'm adding 1 over here, I got to add 1 over there. What do I do next? So I've completed the square, and now I factor. Factoring the x values. What was my magic number again? What was my magic number? 5, good. So it's x plus 5 squared What was my magic number for the y? -1. So it's y minus 1 squared. And now let's do a little bit of math. -22 plus 25 plus 1. What do I get? 4. Very good. We got our equation. Yay! Woohoo! What is the value of the radius? Good. The radius is 2. And what's my center? What's my center? -5, 1. And there you have it, folks. Thank you, Pearl. Yeah, I know I'm a genius. It's fine. I guess the answer to your question is, how do I remember all of this? When you do it so often that it becomes like second nature, it's not going to be hard to memorize it. So memorization for me just happens when I do it so often that it just sticks in my mind. It just sticks. Oh, I forgot to put an exponent here. There we go. Like piano, yeah. How come I can't remember pi? Because I never tried. I never really tried to. If I tried, I bet I could get pretty far, but I don't know. Questions on this example? All right, one more. And then I think we'll be done after that. Actually, let me see if I can, now let's do this one. All right, what do I have to do first? What do I do first? So I have to subtract 16, that's true. There's one more thing really quick. Yeah, I gotta move things around. I bring all my x's into one place and all my y's into one place. So I have 2x squared minus 8x, and then I have 2y squared minus 12y, and then I have -16. Okay. Pausing here for a moment, what's different about this example compared to the others that we did so far? Look at this for a moment. Just look at the original problem. Look at this for a moment. Look at the original problem. What's different? Okay, so the exponents, that's still fine. So there's an exponent here and an exponent there. That's not different. But I think you said something, Perla, that is different. The leading coefficients. The leading coefficients. This is a problem. You can't do this if you have a leading coefficient. So exactly, we're gonna really quickly do one extra little step. We're just gonna divide everything by 2. Because it's not gonna work otherwise. Okay, so that's something to just kind of keep in the back of your head. If you have a leading coefficient, you can't work it out. It only works when the leading coefficient is 1. Okay, if it's anything more than 1, you have to factor it out. You have to divide it out. So let's divide really quickly. 2 divided by 2, I get 1. -8 divided by 2, I get -4. 2 divided by 2, I get 1. -12 divided by 2, I get -6. -16 divided by 2, I get -8. Does anyone have any questions on that step? Cool. Now I can complete my square. Think about it to yourself for 30 seconds and let me know what's going to go into each of those blanks. So what's going to go into my blanks over here? Good. 4 and 9. So a couple people sent it to me in the chat. Does anyone have questions on how we got 4 or how we got 9? Just going to make this a little smaller so I have room. Any questions? How I got 4, how I got 9? No? Okay. So now let's factor it. Factoring my x's, what do I get? X good, x minus 2 squared. Factoring my y's, what do I get? Good, x minus 3 squared. Oops, I forgot something. What did I forget? What did I forget to do over here? Yeah, my bad. I also, since I added those two numbers on the left side, I got to also add them to the right side. So now what do I have when I add all of these? We got 5, good. All right, I have my final equation. There it is. So on your own, take 30 seconds and answer the final question. What is the radius and what is the center? You can send me your answers in the chat. Where is the radius, or how much is the radius, and where is the center? Ooh, be careful, we're making that same little mistake. Take a moment to rethink, what is the radius? All right. What is my radius? The square root of 5. The square root of 5. Remember that this value right here is the radius squared. Okay, so 5 is r squared, which means that r all on its own is the square root of 25. Where's the center? 2,3. Good. Alrighty. So kind of a lot, I mean, I don't know. With this topic, I feel like it is a lot of information, but at the same time, all that new info is made up of old info. So you're using a lot of your old skills to do something new with them, which means that most of you probably are going to do pretty well with this part of the topic, but that only works if you practice it Practice makes perfect. So let's see. Yeah, we got time. This one last problem. What value should be added in the blanks? This should be pretty easy. Take a look. Yeah. 16. So answer choice C. I feel like that question was a little too easy. Does anyone have any questions on that one? Easy. All right, so here's the deal, y'all. I didn't give you homework all week. But I am going to give you homework, but it won't be due until Sunday at midnight. Because Khan Academy actually does have some pretty good problems to practice this, completing the square and finding the radius, finding the center, all of those things. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up right now. It is going to be due on Sunday at midnight. So make sure if there's a reason, because I know I don't like to give homework over the weekend. So if there is a reason why you can't get it done by then, just let me know and I will give you an extension, but you have to tell me ahead of time. All right, so that's that. Yeah, that was Miss Noel, not me, because I don't have a study guide made. Sorry. Okay. So that's all for today, guys. Very good job. Lots of good participation today. I want that every single time. And I will be putting up the grades from your graded bell ringer later today. So don't forget that that was a thing. And let's not make that same mistake next time. All right, everybody, have a nice day. I will see you all tomorrow.
Bye, man.
Bye. Yeah, Jalen, you got an A. Good job. You got 100%.
I get a C.
Yep. Everyone else
Okay.
got a C because they got one wrong.
Bye, miss.
Bye, everyone.